become too expensive that it's no longer worth it. Story 1. Amazon Prime is quickly losing its value. It's still worth 1 to 2 days shipping, but they've got a huge problem with counterfeit items and garbage products in general. Story 2. Eating out, both takeaway and eating in restaurants. The price has skyrocketed in recent years, with the quality diminishing as well. It's just not worth having. Even the convenience of takeaway is lost, as it often takes an age for it to be prepared. I hate to say this, but getting a ready meal from a supermarket is better. Story 3. It's very rare that I eat out now and consider it good value. Between crappier food and service that has severely gone downhill, it just isn't worth the experience anymore. Story 4. Alcoholic beverages at events, concerts, sports, etc. 15-20 for one beer is absurd. I used to think they were taxing when they cost $8-10, but greed is a real thing. Story 5. Skiing. When I started skiing in my small town in Colorado, I paid $70 which was not cheap, but I could usually hit about 10-15 times a year. Vail in 2024, $329 for one adult for one day. Screw the entitled skiing industry. My equipment is collecting dust in the garage. Story 6. Hotels. My goodness, but prices have taken off. Tripled. It's disheartening. Who is consistently paying $300 or more for basic rooms in basic Tier 2 hotels or highway interchange hotels? $300 used to get you a reasonable room in Manhattan. Now that's a Hilton Garden Inn, a smaller city on a busy night, a Hilton Garden Inn that used to be $89 per COVID. Repeat across every city or rural attraction in existence, LOL. Story 7. Going to Disney. When we family of 5 went around 15 years ago, it was around $5,000 for a package that included tickets for the week, a room on Disney Resort, and food in the parks. Today it would cost at least $4,000 for the room, around $6,000 for tickets, and they no longer run deals where dining is included, so you're probably talking about another $1,000 or $2 for that. I don't see how an average family can afford to go anymore. Story 8. Lego. It's priced me out of the market. I'm now considering buying Fligo fake Lego, but I also should acknowledge that I probably have enough in my collection. Story 9. Air travel has become borderline punitive, both in terms of price and just the whole experience. It seems like every year it just gets worse and is like $100 more for a round-trip ticket than the year before. We live in CA and have family in the Pacific NW, and the price for a 1-hour flight is almost a practical joke. Story 10. Donuts. Roughly 37 dozen at the local places near me. They raised their prices 62 months ago. Fortunately, it allowed me to have a reason to stop eating donuts on Sunday. Story 11. TV streaming was rolled out under the guise to replace high costs of cable and satellite TV. It has instead become them. All services are at least $83 per month. I'm not paying $1,000 per year to watch TV plus the added expense of Netflix and the others. Story 12. For me, it was soda. I had a horrible soda addiction, drinking a 12-pack every day and a half. One day I stopped, and they were on sale for $7.98 each. On sale for almost $8. I knew the price was steadily going up at the time, but I got so pissed off I stopped drinking soda right there. Other than a glass when we eat out, I haven't spent a single cent on soda. Nothing but water. Story 13. Tickets to most sporting events. I wanted to go to an NBA game recently and was looking at 28 tickets in the upper deck. Fairly reasonable. When I went to check out, there were an additional 25 of taxes and fees. Sorry, but I'm not paying $50 for the worst level of seats in the arena. Get lost? Story 14. Disney parks. We used to go regularly because, although expensive, they had a good bang for your buck. Now, with perks taken away left and right, especially for those staying on resort property, charging for things that used to be free, and nickel and dimming every single step of your trip, it's just not the same. Our last trip in 2021 was a week at the Caribbean Beach Resort and 6 days at the parks. It cost us $4,100. We had a great time. That same trip is about $7,200 for our family of 5, and that doesn't include the transportation to and from the airport, which used to be included, nor does it include any extras like lightning lanes. I just can't justify that. Story 15. Going to the movies. No way I'm paying $50 for 3 people to go watch a movie that a bunch of people are either going to be talking through or playing on their phone the entire time. Just a bad experience overall these days. Story 16. Fast food. I'm talking Wendy's, McDick's, Burger King, Subway, ECT. Places where it once was considered fast food, and you'd get on a dollar menu under $5. Not that I eat fast food every day, but let's say I forgot lunch and needed a quick meal while I'm on the job. Now it's like $15 anywhere you go. Like God. Story 17. Taco Bell. Used to be my favorite fast food growing up. It was so cheap that anytime my parents got it, we feasted. I'm talking burritos, chalupas, tacos. Now it's one of the more expensive fast food places. Story 18 nights out in town. Joined some pals for our annual Xmas night out, which we have been doing for almost 15 years now. My God, it is so expensive. Taxis in and out were close to 75, and then once in a pub, 6.50, 7 a drink. Never again. Story 19 new cars, most of them are cheaply built and don't last long. I am not saying that because I like old cars or something. It's just a fact. Used cars make more sense. Story 20 TV subscription, cell phones plans that come with free phone and a suckered 2 years contract, restaurants that serve you with an automatic tips, fees, and other hidden junk fees, cheap airline tickets but you have pay for seats, bags, beverages, cancellation, hospital bills, insurance premiums with high deductible, and you still have to pay 20 copay after all the deductible are met. Movie theater with expensive food and drinks, parking lot, especially in Las Vegas Strip. Things that used to be free now we all have to pay. Story 21. Streaming services. Raising prices and adding commercials. I can accept commercials before or after a show or movie, but a random ad for Macy's pops up while watching The Lion King? Disney. You're not worth it. I still have DVDs for if internet goes down because of storms, so we'll just start doing that. Story 22. Buying soda. Just saw a 12-pack for $9.29 at the store. In 2020, it was $3 at Walmart. If ever there was a reason to give it up. 77 cents a can. No thanks. Story 23. Eating out at most restaurants. So annoyed right now. Went out to dinner last night to a French place. Bill was almost $700 for the 5 of us. The food was absolute trash. Story 24. All the specialty cuts in beef, like short ribs, skirt steak, oxtail, hanger steak. They're hardly cheaper than the strip tenderloins ribeyes at this point, despite paying for way more fat connective tissue labor to make it taste good. Story 25. Skiing. On top of the usual inflation, you get fewer snowy days per year, and the mere thought that it's a rich people's sport like golf now makes it less enjoyable. Story 26. Golf after COVID. Used to be able to get a green fee at a nice Muni course for 50, and tee times were available on the weekends for the most part. Now, any course in half-decent shape is 100. The good tee times morning, early afternoon are locked behind their 80 mows. Players' programs and rounds take 5 hours because the course is stacking up these tee times as hard as they can. This has been my experience in DFW, particularly since 2020. Story 27. Food for delivery. Especially if you plan tipping the delivery guy, as I always do. I'll order food for delivery maybe once or twice a year as a treat for myself, just because it's too expensive overall otherwise. Story 28. Seafood. I love it, and ate it all the time when I lived in a coastal state. But the state I live in now is landlocked, so shipping the ocean's bounty almost 2,000 miles is costly. There's not much I miss about living in Florida, but fresh affordable seafood is at the top of the list. Story 29. Concert and sports tickets. I used to see a big act for under $100 per ticket. Now it's north of $500. Ditto hockey and baseball. I used to get $10 nosebleeds last minute at the door. Now cheapies are non-existent, and it's unaffordable to take in a last-minute game. Story 30. Thrift shopping. I know it's known, but I used to go to thrift shops with friends for awesome and wacky deals, but now I can't afford anything they offer now. Story 31. Fast food. Used to be that fast food was barely more expensive than cooking for yourself, and the time-saving convenience of it was worth the cost difference. Now it's ridiculous. Story 32. Streaming, cable, and satellite services. If you have an internet connection, you can get everything free, including live sports. I haven't paid a penny for this stuff in over 5 years and have saved well over $5K in that time. Story 33. Hiring contractors, tradies to do things at your house. It used to be more of a case where you use contractors if you didn't have time to do it yourself, or it actually worked out cheaper based your own hourly rate at work versus what they charge. It's gotten out of control in Australia. Quoted $20K to build a front fence with 2 gates, so built it myself for approx $5K in materials and 3 weekends. $10K to replace color bond roof on garage. I replaced it with $3K in materials including insulation and internal ceilings which weren't in the quote. At those rates, I could be making $250K a year doing basic handyman 4 days a week. Story 34. Eating out has never felt worse. It always feels like a gamble. Also, customer service sucks now for some reason. No one tries to move lines quickly anymore, and workers rarely put an effort to be nice to you to create a good customer service experience. Story 35. There's a protein bar I've gotten for years that I love. The price has increased gradually to the point it's now like double what it originally was in the course of 3 to 4 years. Story 36. Just curious. Do you all think this is a holdover from COVID? I know prices escalated then because there wasn't a lot of options, but it seems like restaurants and grocery stores have kept their COVID prices because people are used to paying that. Story 37. We went to the mall last night, NJ, and after some traipsing around, thought we'd get a fresh Jamba Juice. 9 for the smallest size, and they don't even make the drink fresh. They have a bunch of cafeteria-style dispensers in the back. Then passed by the Auntie Anne's pretzel place for one of those little cups of pretzel bites. Also considered getting caramel corn, the chain in the mall, which is right downstairs from the movie theater. LOL asks $9 for a small popcorn. We haven't paid attention to stuff like this in a while and got a shock, but in good news, didn't have the extra random calories. Story 38. Anything that involves some form of social interaction. It is increasingly evident that we are being influenced and subconsciously cajoled into staying within our own four walls unless a high profit can be made from we surfs. Story 39. Live events like concerts and sporting events. After the cost of tickets, parking, merch, and probably something to eat, you're down more than a week's pay. That's just not worth it to me. Story 40. Having kids and education. I can make more with the capital it takes to go to post-secondary than the labor I could provide with a post-secondary education. In fact, labor is so poorly compensated now that I don't believe working has value. You can borrow, leverage your way to a better income than anything you could do with your hands or mind. Story 41. Watching sports on TV. It's ridiculous that this week there will be 2 Christmas Day games on Netflix and 3 more games on Saturday on the NFL Network. I am old enough to remember when these games were aired on network TV for free. Just last year, we had 3 Christmas Day games on free TV. Story 42. Weekend getaways. My friends and I used to go on trips to a local resort town on long weekends. Super affordable until social media made it popular. Now you have to book it months in advance and pay a premium. Story 43. Clinic app. To get prescription refills, I have to go to the patient portal. Only 2 doctors in town used to be a couple of dozen same-size population. I was taken from my physician and given to some kind of online doctor my insurance demanded it, and am now supposed to download an app to communicate. Didn't upgrade my smartphone and went back to a flip phone so cheap. Every time my prescriptions are refilled, I'm told I have to have an appointment, and my healthcare team is constantly changing, differing ideas on which medications I should have, etc.